podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is Donovan Gray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decide I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself, and not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donovan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, you name it. We on it, and if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at Thebambooproject. We have over 400 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Do you want travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will probably be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we're into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 125. Okay, this podcast has 4 different segments. We have the life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topics of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is August 9th, Tuesday, August 9th, and it is 1:26 p.m. All right, so this week, man, oh man, this is some. Last week I felt like it was kind of like but like this week, bruh, I have so much things to talk about. Like the list is so long. But what are you doing?
Listen.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
You can fix the chair.
You can fix you moving around.
If I literally...
You just got up and spinned around and jumped. I just saw you get up, spin around, and move around that chair. That was not... I don't hear nothing. That's not what just happened. That's not what just happened. You stood up, spent around, grabbed the chair. I just saw you do all that. Right. All that. What's all of that? Right. What's that?
You just fix it.
Or you could not move.
Or just not move for 2 hours.
Right.
3
Yes.
hours,
Exactly.
There
you go. Perfect. I like that. I like that answer and solution.
I had to.
Now you have to do what? You have to do what?
I had to adjust the seat.
Stop doing that. So before we get to the life update and the rest of the segments, we start off with Screentime. And I say this every week. If I don't take advantage of my phone, then my phone will take advantage of me. And I want to be 10 billion, not just 1 billion, 10 billion. And I'm pretty sure I got to cut down on my screen time to get there. So let's see what last week was looking like.
He said this every week and he don't do nothing about it. He don't do nothing to actively. He said this every week for 125 weeks. And he still is at 10 hours. No, ain't no sense.
I bet you it's under 8 this week. Watch. I don't know why Melissa's a hater. Listen. First of all, Melissa's nah. It sounds like a lot of hating to me.
Have you ever been under 6 hours?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
What you mean?
Isn't that crazy? In 2 years, you have not.
I have.
In 2 years,
I have proof on the podcast.
2 years.
How much you want to bet on that? How much you want to bet?
For less than.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet?
Why you always want to bet? You gonna lose.
You gonna lose.
You don't follow it. You don't follow on your end of your bets.
Like what?
Because you done bet yesterday. Oh, I bet I could close it. I bet I could close it.
What was the bet? What was the wages?
You're right. Cause you wouldn't you ain't set no wager for me.
How I'm gonna set your wager? What kind of betting man? Like that's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm like, what do I get if I win? You win. Like,
right.
No. How you get more and I get that?
That's on you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's what you wanted to.
Because you be talking over me.
Nah, I'll be talking over you. Now you can get your words out. Oh my goodness, this be excuses. That's what I be hearing, just mad excuses. So last week, my average screen time, so the time I use my phone every day on average, was 9 hours and 17 minutes per day. My most used app was YouTube for 27 hours, then Instagram for 12, and then Safari for 5.9 or 6 hours. My pickups went down, so on average I picked up my phone only 98 times per day.
How much time?
How much time what?
Did you spend on your
That's damn, you missed it. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. You gotta hear the podcast now. Now you hear the podcast. So my first used app after pickup was YouTube, then Instagram, and then messages. So now, beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend, which device are you gonna choose for your screen time? Are you gonna do your? Are you gonna do? Are you gonna do? Are you gonna?
Don't act like you.
What devices?
Don't act like
what devices?
You got your laptop that have a screen time.
Barely. Actually, if we being honest,
you got 2 phones and you be using both of them at the same time.
I definitely don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't. That should be dead all the time.
Play YouTube and use the other one to do other stuff. So honestly, what's the screen time for your other phone?
I don't use it.
Multiple
I
devices.
don't use it. Let's say each one of your phones have 9 hours of watch. Each one of your devices. You have an iPad. You have a laptop. You got a phone. Everything on one of them.
You have an iPad. You have more devices than I do.
Yes.
You have 2
And
iPads,
still have less hours used.
2 phones and a laptop. Honestly, 2 laptops. You have 2 laptops.
I don't use the other one.
2 iPads.
Doesn't count.
And 2 phones. Honestly, do you have 3 phones? You have 3 phones.
Why would I have 3 phones?
Where's the other one? You know what? I'm gonna let you out because you don't use the third one like that. But you 100% have 2 iPads, 2 phones, and a laptop.
Right.
And 2 laptops.
Right. So we're gonna tell them how you have 9 hours of screen time per device that you have. You got more hours of screen time than there are days in the day. More hours in the day, Melissa.
Nope.
Okay. So what is your screen time on what device you gonna use? Your phone? You gonna choose your phone? Okay. What's your phone
On my
screen
phone,
time?
My only screen time that I'm saying, I was on my phone for an average of 7 hours and 13 minutes last week. It's up 16% from the week before. The week before I was at 6 hours and 13 minutes. My most used app was Instagram at 16 hours and 24 minutes. My second most used app is TikTok at 8 hours and 32 minutes. And then my third most used app is Google Maps at 6 hours and 33 minutes. I had 145 pickups. So that's up 22% from the week before, where I was at 119 pickups average a day. And my first app after pickup is Instagram, but I have been getting more engagement on my Instagram and the Kindle Instagram, so that kind of speaks to why I've been on Instagram.
You start posting that corny ass content. That's why you started posting the genuine, natural content. Nobody want to see you with a filter on your face, just sitting around looking at the ceiling. What are you doing? That you want to be one of them? Move to California, move to LA. You want to do all that corny shit?
Listen, I would move to.
I know you would, and be mad corny, It's like, oh my goodness, you're stuck in traffic all day, being corny with your phone on filter. So, anyways, so this week, I don't even know where to start. Like, there's so many things that happened this week. Like so many things, day after day after day after day, that happened. So, I'm gonna start off with the craft fair. Okay. So if y'all don't know, we sell candles now. Okay, these candles are 100% beeswax candles. For people who don't know, beeswax purifies the air when it burns. Now you're probably like, what does that mean? How does that work? Okay, y'all have Google, other than yesterday when it was down, which is crazy. There is something called free radicals. All right, this is a science lesson, science 101 for y'all. Pay attention for people who are into being healthy and eating right. If you know about smoke points and food, this also attributes to that, but we're not going into that right now. Talking about just free radicals. Okay, free radicals are atoms that go into the air that do not have an electron. Okay, what happens is those atoms now look for that extra electron. Okay, so they're floating around the air. They're like, ooh, where can I get them? You know where they find them? Your body. So they go into your body and they take those electrons from your body to make themselves a whole atom. I think it's like a positive atom trying to make itself, or a neutral atom, right? So if they don't have a place to find that extra electron, they're going to get it from you. So what beeswax candles do is they produce that extra electron for those free radicals. So now, once you have basically purified that free radical, it doesn't affect you negatively anymore, which is why we chose to use beeswax for our candles. They have no paraffins, no parabens, no soy. For all the men out there who are trying to keep their titties off, no soy, nothing like that. Okay. Now, we had the craft fair this weekend. Okay. Oh, before I even get to the craft fair, we just now figured out how to get the candles to be like, and it's called the YouTube shelf. Then they changed the name to like YouTube shopping. So under this video, there should be like a bar of how to like to buy the candles. So we're trying to figure it out for like 3 weeks now. We finally figured it out. Listen, we getting there. We moving. Billionaire status, $10 billion. We getting there inch by inch. So to attribute more to becoming a billionaire, a decabillionaire. This week we had the craft fair, right? We normally try and have what we would call inventory control. I guess I just made that term up right now. And it's pretty much where we look at all of our old numbers for each craft fair, and then we try to figure out like how many candles we'll need for this craft fair based off of the old ones, and we try to figure out exactly which amount of each one we'll need. So we kind of boiled it down to bringing about 84 candles, 42 per day, and then our best seller is room service, and then the least is do not disturb. However, do not disturb low key, is that what Tori got? He got room service and do not disturb. So low key, right? Now we're gonna find out this new craft fair. We're gonna see the new craft fair, because oddly enough, I vaguely remember do not disturb as being one of the better selling candles, but a lot of the times the cards don't be fresh, so they don't smell it, and it's a more subtle scent.
No, that's the wrong thing. The cards are too fresh.
Oh, sure, right. The cards are too fresh, so they don't smell it. So I'm wondering now if now that they smell it, they're gonna be buying a lot of it, because people was really hyping it up last weekend.
They were.
So now. That's how we kind of try and do it, right? So we brought roughly 80 candles, like 79 to 84, somewhere in that bracket, right? And honestly, yeah, somewhere in that bracket. Bruh. First day of the candles, we got put in a section that we thought would be the worst section, because how it's set up, it's all about location when you're doing business, okay? We want to be in the most optimal location at the craft fair to be able to get the good amount of traffic. You know, we don't want the music being over us where we can't really hear. We don't want to be all the way in the back. Also, I personally don't want to be in the front, like right at the front. The reason for that is because I feel like people come inside, they don't really want something handed to them immediately, right? Also, I feel like we would be so exhausted, Melissa and I, we would talk to every single person that comes in the craft fair, and we would never sit down. It would just be all nonstop. And the other thing is a common excuse that we hear, or hurdle that we hear, is, hey, I want to look around the rest of the store. We would probably hear that 98% of the time, because they just walked into the store. Like, they have not seen anything else inside the store. They don't know if they want to buy a candle yet. They just got inside. So now we were in the back, all the way in the back, off to the side in the corner. And I'm just like, damn, I think I put a video up of it. It was on Instagram. So I'm like, I don't really like this spot. The person next to us has a big old like section where it's kind of blocking us if they're coming from that angle. So think about it like this, right? You just imagine wherever you're sitting at. To our left was an aisle, right? So you come in from that aisle, and in front of us was another vendor. They have to walk past both of us, and then there's like another aisle going straight, and then on the vendor across from us has an aisle on both sides of her. Hope that makes sense. Now we have a vendor to our left, our right, and right in front of us. So I wasn't a fan of that location. Man, listen. The first day, day numero uno, Saturday, we broke the record for as much candle we've ever sold, money we ever made in one day. We made $930 that first day. We could have went over $1,000. The only reason we didn't is because we sold out of candles that we had we had brought a certain amount of candles that was supposed to be used for Sunday, but because we were selling so much, we had to bring those candles from Sunday's inventory to Saturday's inventory. So now, let's say, for example, we have something called, we have room service, we have wind down, we have people watching, and we have do not disturb. So let's say somebody wants to get do not disturb, right? Let's say we bring 16. We bring 8 for Saturday and 8 for Sunday. We sold out all of them, if not maybe 14 of them were sold on Saturday. So we're like, damn, we're selling so much. And the other candles, like the larger sizes, we have the large one and a small one. Bruh, sold out of the large ones. We're like, yo, this is crazy. So at a certain point, we're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we just sit down and try like not to sell as many as we are selling, so that tomorrow we still have some inventory to sell. And we were selling out the whole day. So we honestly average probably like, if we're there from 11 to 6, which is 8 hours. No, it's 7 hours. So if I did $930 divided by 7, that would be $132 an hour, and that's with us somewhat taking breaks in that time period. So I'm like, okay, that's fire. And the first hour, I don't even think did we do a sale the first hour, or was it the day after?
We did do a sale the first hour.
Okay, because
we took off, I think, 2 hours at the end.
Yeah, like I said, you're right. So it was crazy. So we go into the next day, right? And we have almost no inventory left. We still start selling out of everything. So we end up leaving the craft fair with 5 candles in total. Not 5 like of each, 5 in total. Some large, some big. We had completely sold out of do not disturb and people watching. All we had was wind down and room service.
We sold out of room service too.
No, we didn't.
What day?
Oh, we talking about, damn, you're right, on Sunday. Facts. So the only thing we had left was wind down.
Literally.
That's the only candle we had was wind down, large and small. So we sold out of every single candle we had, big and small, of every scent except for wind down. And we bring extra room service because we know it's the best seller. So we're like, okay, you know what? We want that candle to be able to sell the most, so we're gonna bring more of it. It was gone, and they still wanted more. We were just like, bruh. So I keep telling y'all, right? From a business perspective, in my opinion, if I want to get super rich, deca-billionaire status, I think it comes down to selling expensive products to businesses, right? However, either at high volume or high ticket prices, depending, it's all relative, because I might view $1,000 ticket price as expensive, but then you also have a Lamborghini, which is way more expensive than that. So for me though, multi like several $100 price point, or even over $1,000 price point, is for me expensive, because I feel like we can sell a lot of those. And then it also comes down to expanding and having salespeople who can do that same thing in a different location. So Sunday was the first time I know it is the first time I've ever seen what it would be like to wholesale candles. Actually, that's not true. My friend in Brooklyn who bought some candles for his store, that technically be our first wholesale, but he bought 4.
Yeah, like 6 or something.
Yeah. So this person, she worked at TikTok, she worked at Pinterest, she worked at Instagram, and she worked somewhere else too. I can't remember the other place, but she's heavy into social media, right? So we're chatting it up, we're talking, and she was telling us she has an event coming up on Thursday. That was Sunday, today is Tuesday. And she was saying it would be great to, buy some candles to put like in the goodie bags for the creators she's working with to have as a good gift. Now, some background on her: she left working at TikTok to start her own company. That company that she now starts is pretty much like Glassdoor, if y'all are unfamiliar with it. What her company does is, you guys may see different creators who have sponsorships where they'll have an ad read and they'll say, hey, buy Ember candles. And they say, you don't know how much they get paid for that, right? Now, for you guys, it's not really as important because you guys don't benefit from the actual money that's being paid to the creator. But a lot of creators want to know how much to charge for their content. And a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the creator space, it's kind of common that Black creators don't get paid as much as other ethnicities of creators. So it's also hard because, like, okay, who do I even ask to tell me? Because a lot of people might be funny with the money and not tell you how much they make. So another thing that comes into play is smaller creators may think that I have to have, 40,000, 100,000 subscribers to start getting ad sponsorships. And that's not true. But because nobody's talking about it publicly and they're not saying how much they make, you never know. A lot of creators that I've seen, they will do, and this is the small creators, what they'll do is they'll get sent like a product, like let's say hair or makeup, whatever they get sent, right? And they pretty much have it set up where they get the product for free and they talk about it. But bigger creators are like, absolutely not. Like, if you send me a product and I talk about it, you're gonna pay me, and I want $20,000 for this ad read. I have X amount of subscribers. This is how much I want to make. So what she's doing is she's making it kind of transparent for people to now sign up and see, like, oh, okay, I know if I have 20K subscribers, I can make $7,000 off of a sponsorship from different kinds of people. It's kind of anonymous to the sense that you don't really know who's making that money, but that's what she's starting a company that does. She has an app that she has on the App Store that does that, right? Now, it's crazy because, like I said, we're talking about it, and she's like, you know what? I want to buy 10 candles. And we were like, damn, that's crazy. Like, she gonna buy 10 candles. She's like, yeah, she gonna buy it online. So she ended up walking around the store, and then she came back, and she ended up buying 10 right there on the spot. She bought 10 small ones, right? Now, for her, it's almost like it's chump change in a sense because she has a business. So for us, it's $150 that we made in that 10-minute span of selling that candle, because it's 10 of them at one time. And for her, it's a business purchase. So she's like, okay, this will make me more money, and it's not expensive to add to make me more money. For us, it's great to make $150 an hour. So it's like, okay,
an hour in one transaction,
right, except facts, in one transaction is $150. So that opened my eyes again, like I said earlier, to we need to figure out, and when the house is done, we will be on this crazy. We need to figure out how to multiply that and go to other businesses and have them say, hey, do you want to buy candles for your business? We charge X amount, you get this amount, here's a wholesale charge, we have a subscription, whatever the case might be. But imagine if we're doing, like I said, we do 10 stores, right, in a month. We go to 10 stores in a month and have them buy 50 candles. So now if we have the small, let's say buy 50 big ones, which would be, that's in my mind, it's a lot of money. But let's see, 35 times 50. That's right. Yes. So that would be, that would be one store, right? So now time that by 10. Okay, times 10. That would be $17,000 if we get 10 stores to buy 50 candles, or the large ones. And then that's at a $35 price point. The smaller ones are $15, and I'm like, people may buy a lot more of those, and the margins for us are better on the small ones. So I know that if we can get it to a point where we're selling these to businesses, we going crazy. We going crazy. And then I say we add a sales team to it. We start going to different craft fairs, start going to different businesses around the country, and then boom, it's million. I strongly believe. Okay, listen to this. I strongly believe if the house gets sold within the next 60 days, that by next year, Melissa and I will be millionaires. Like, we will have either made $1 million or be worth $1 million. I'm thinking have $1 million in the bank. That might be kind of tough. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of next year we have $1 million in the bank. Like, I could see it. As long as the house gets sold quick enough, we get this thing off our books and done with, which I'll come to that later. So at this craft fair, we met a lot of different people. Okay. So we also, the total amount we made for the craft fair was $1,400 in those 2 days. And like I said, we could have did over 2,000 in my opinion if we had more candles. We just didn't have inventory to keep selling. But while we were there, we met some very interesting people. One person that bought a candle, she has a clothing brand that is going to be a New York Fashion Week. It's her brand, right?
I think so.
And she was trying to put Melissa on to being a model for the brand at New York Fashion Week. So we're trying to see how that's going to go. That would be a good look if we can get that done. And then I met a guy who was selling clothes at the craft fair, right? So last week, or the week before last, I saw them. Was it last week? No, it was Sunday. It was Saturday that we saw them. And it was a woman that was there. Now, as soon as we walked into the place, it was just kind of like, we saw their booth and we're like, wow, that's a really nice looking booth. Like the booth looks really good. While we were selling candles, we had seen somebody come to our table and we were like, wow, we really like your fit. Like, that's fire. And she's like, oh, she got it from over there. She was trying it on. And I'm like, yo, that looks really good. So I had seen a lady. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go up to her and tell her, like, hey, I think that your booth is amazing, your clothes is amazing. I could tell you make it or you said you make it yourself. Like, everything about this brand and just the energy behind it is great. And for us, or for me personally, I know how good that feels to hear, because when we hear, it's like, wow, you know how much work goes into this, and to get that appreciation from someone else is always feels good, I would assume. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to say that. So I told her, and then she was saying that her husband was gonna come later, I guess to help sell, or to do it while, I don't know if they would, something where her husband was gonna come, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So the following day, she wasn't there, he was there. So I went up to him and I told him, like, hey, you know, kind of the same thing, like, yo, this is an amazing brand, whatever, this is great. So he is probably like, I think we say he's Indian. I feel like he's like he give me like the Bollywood type of, like, but like the superstar type. What let's see what you say he is.
He gave me like
Persian.
He's brown.
Right, he's brown. So I'm like, I don't know.
Right. It's just because he could be like literally from either, like I said, India. It could be Pakistan. No, I wouldn't say Pakistan. He could be Guyanese. Like, he's just
right. Me and him got to talking, right, and it was so crazy how much information that he was dropping about the brand, because you wouldn't think that their brand was doing what they were doing. So he had told me how much they made. He said that they made in the last weekend that they were there, they made $3,000 in a weekend. Okay, they were selling handmade shirts, dresses, and pants. The brand is called Camilla Valentina. It's a very like bubbly brand, and like I said, handmade clothing. So I'm like, yo, what? He's like, yeah, you made $3,000, and he said this week was a little bit slow. They did 2,400, and I was just like, yo, how? Like, how'd y'all do that? Because in my opinion, I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, I always assumed that we were the best sellers there. Now, with that being said, I still think that's the case, because what he had told me is they sold 40 pieces that weekend, but they have actually they did 40 sales. Maybe they probably did 40 sales. Yeah 20 times 7. Yeah okay, so they did 40 transactions that in the last weekend, right? And he was saying that their average price point for those sales was $70, because each one of their clothes was 35. It starts at 35, excuse me, and it goes up from there. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about having a higher price point. I'm just like amazed. So now we're going back and forth. And to me, here's why this is crazy. First of all, y'all know for anybody's a spreadsheet person, I automatically start going, I start getting hot and bothered. Like, yo, you in the spreadsheets? Like, nah, that's crazy. Like, I love spreadsheets. Like, yeah, what kind of spreadsheet you be doing? So he was telling me that he was doing color analysis for the brand. Now, his wife is the designer behind the brand. She makes everything herself by hand. And he was just going down the list of things that they do to get sales. So we had talked to somebody else at the craft fair, right? And they're selling clothes. Now, he has said that he was saying that he didn't actually have any sales that day. And we were having a conversation. I was saying that I think it's hard to sell clothing at a craft fair like that, because you're competing with a lot of other people who are not only doing clothes. They're doing candles, they're doing wallets, they're doing jewelry, they're doing hats, they're doing makeup, and they're doing all types of food, mad stuff. And I feel like it's harder to sell clothes just by having it there. But I told that to the other guy how I feel about clothing. That's what he told me, how much they made. So his approach to it is very similar to ours. He was like, he approaches and talks to everybody that walks by the booth. He says hi, hey. He calls it pulling. So he'll just say, hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hey. And when they respond to him, then he'll go through the pitch that they have, or the sales pitch that they have, to then get them to buy the clothes. And they're doing amazing. He was saying that they're going to be there for 8 weeks, or 6 more weeks, and they should probably do about 25,000 in sales in 8 weeks. That's 2 months. That's 2 months that they would do 25,000, which is 12,000 a month, 12.5 a month. I'm like, that is phenomenal. Like, that is phenomenal. And like I said, we're trying to get to that point, and we have to, if we get a higher price point, we can get there. We could be making that $10,000 a month, will puts us in the 100K club. That's the first club to get to Deca billion. You got to get to 100K. You got to then get to $1 million. Then you got to get to $1 billion, 100 million, I guess, and then $1 billion, and then 10 billion. So, but yeah, like I said, so that it was just, the whole convo was so fire. And come to find out, he's actually a small business consultant, and what he did before that, he was actually a consultant for bigger businesses, which is great because you guys know that I want to get into the business of buying businesses. So I'm like, okay, that's very interesting. How'd you get into doing this? So he said he wanted to take what he learned from there and then bring it into the smaller business space, and he's developing an app. So now, how this app works. This is crazy. So pretty much, he codes himself also. He said that it's like I don't know if I call it a Google. Pretty much, you connect your information, let's say your social media, maybe a website, to the app, right? And then it'll go through your Instagram, your social media, your website, whatever else you have that you connect to it. It will then give you back information on how to improve your brand. Like, hey, you could fix this about your videos that you post. You can fix this about the your captions or whatever. And he was saying that also what it does is it'll connect you with people or other companies that can fix that for you. And it also will connect you with people that can fund your business. And I'm like, that's an amazing thing. Like, he said he's just starting out. He's still trying to get the kinks out of it. But I'm like, if he gets that done right, that's an amazing idea. So like I said, that's fire. Now, so now candles. All right. We have our first brand ambassador. Okay, shout out to Sarah Alaba. We finally figured out how to do the affiliate marketing. So now that she can get paid from whenever she sells a candle. And we're trying to build out the team to be able to have more reach with the candles. Because I'm like, the candles are great. But my biggest thing about candles is it's very hard to sell a candle by reading about it. That's just my opinion. I think it's a lot easier if you buy a candle based on somebody else's recommendation. Oh, this candle smells really good. I like X, Y, and Z about it. So we have now connected. Sarah Alaba is we want to have a real professional, what they call that, y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? We're trying to have I want it to be like a package. There we go, a package. You get somebody a package. PR package. Right, something like a PR package type of thing. That's what I want to. We're still small. We're still trying to figure this out. We're still trying to build this out slowly. But we're gonna send her a candle today. You sending it out? So today she's gonna get the candle. Today's gonna go. The candle's gonna go out. Shout out to my guy Tori. He bought 2 candles last week, so he's gonna get those on Thursday, right? It's supposed to be.
So honestly, it's gonna get there tomorrow.
Also, so Wednesday. So I'm excited to see what happens when he burns the candle. I want to hear his honest opinion on the candles, because, yeah. If I could say nobody that we know has them, that's not true. I don't know if we got any reviews though about the candles. I know Hadassah got one. I know Diamond got one. Ebony got one. Brittany got one.
I don't think Brittany got one.
Okay, I know Ebony, Diamond, and then got one. So now here's where we're at. We're at a crossroads, right? So we're making a lot of money with the candles, and we want to now obviously expand the candle business some more. So the problem we ran into was that the money that we make from the candles has to go to the house. It goes to paying off the interest payment for the house, and then it goes also into living expenses. So damn, we cannot do another craft fair without the money. So shout out to an anonymous source that helped us with being able to fund the next craft fair. Because here's the thing too that happens with the craft fair situation is after we do 2 or 3 craft fairs, the expenses go up because we have to then rebuy all the supplies. So we let's say we spend $1,000, it'll get us enough money it'll get us enough product, to do a craft fair, do 3 craft fairs possibly, and then also pay to get into the craft fair itself. So like I said, now we have enough money to do another craft fair this month. So we're excited. We have some new things we want to try. And the biggest reason why we wanted to do another craft fair this month is because Square has this thing where if you make a certain amount of money and you hit some other performance indicators for them, then they will offer you a line of credit. So we're hoping that, well, they said we have to hit 10,000 in sales through their processing system of Square, the reader. So we are at like 1,800 and some change, right? No, 8,000. Do you know what it's like 8,000 what? Do you know 400 or?
It's like literally like 8,800.
Oh, really? Wow.
We need 1,200.
Yeah. So right. So we do one more craft fair, and we will now have all the green lights checked on the Square app to then be able to apply for this line of credit.
Yeah, and they don't check your credit at all. It's solely based off of your performance with the Square terminals.
We hoping we get that, because if we have enough money that allows us to have the working capital to continue to grow the company without having to actually siphon it off to pay our bills, we could have been making $8,000 a month already off the candles. Probably, definitely, because without the house, we're making $10K off the candles, and that's because we're doing craft fairs, and we're also going to be selling it in other places other than just on the weekends. So it's like we would have, more stores having it, more hotels having it. We'd have a lot of different people having it, and it just be like, okay, we're ready for this.
And then we could also put more into the online sales too. So paying someone to put out content, to do copy for newsletters and stuff like that.
So that's where we're at right now. We're trying to get that stuff really set up. We want to get the website done better, upgraded where we have the copy is good. We want to have pictures that are enticing, where it's how do I put this? We want to be more cohesive in terms of getting them to the site and then to the end to buy the candle. We're working on that. We want to start having a subscriber list or subscription list or newsletter for it, like Melissa was saying earlier. And just yeah, I'm ready.
It's a lot of things. We could pay for the higher tier for the website that we have, and that would allow us to do monthly subscriptions for candles for people that want to repeat purchase. It would be a lot.
Right.
If we had more money.
Right. So it's candles is going crazy. They're going crazy, guys. But as far as the candles, I think that's it. Like I said, we have the Shopify thing, which is, like I said, what's on the bottom of the video, because that was been one of the hardest things. But it took so long to get that set up over the weekend.
Beast.
And the last thing, when it comes to the candles, we had met a person, and this helps us tremendously. She was saying that it's possible that we can get the beeswax for free, and that's because most beekeepers don't use the wax. They use the bees for the honey. So if we can actually use the wax, she was saying that they probably will give it to us for free, or they might just charge us for filtering the beeswax. And we're like, yo, if we can cut the cost down by getting the beeswax for free, then we could really have some great margins on the candles. And I think that personally, the larger candles underpriced, because at Flying Solo,
You think they are?
I mean, they are.
They're wholesale price.
That's tough to say.
What do you mean? Because generally, as a beginning rule of thumb, you would want to do 3 times your cost for your product. So, and then 2 times would be wholesale price.
Sure, but that changes from industry. That reminds me of the numbers they have for clothing. So everything doesn't have that margin. So it's again, this is my personal opinion of it being it being kind of underpriced, because the actual price of the candle, according to that math, would have to be 90 something. No,
it would be $45.
Yeah, it'd be $45. Yeah, that's cool.
And so they underpriced.
Yeah. So now the Flying Solo store, they sold 4 candles at $50. We were doing a little test thing to see if people would buy it at that price, with no marketing material there, with no information about the candles. They literally just bought the candles straight. $50. One guy left the store, came back, and then bought damn, I gotta buy a candle that. I need to get that. So that lets me know that if we, depending on where we put the candle and how we double down on the branding of it, we can charge $50 or more for the candle. And I think if the brand becomes, if we could really show luxury behind the brand, I feel like that will take us to be able to charge $60 plus for the candle. Like if we could like make it.
Yeah, 100%. I think that there's things that, because to me, I think luxury is making the individual elements higher quality. So I don't think luxury is like adding a whole bunch of stuff. Like I think, okay, what's the basics? It's a glass, it's the label, the wick, I think it's making every component amazing.
So I think it's the branding.
You think so?
Yeah, because I'm like, if you took that candle that you're talking about in your mind and just took a white sheet and put it there, I don't think it would have the same effect.
No, I don't think it's. I mean, for like all the aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're doing the photo shoot, you're doing it to the highest thing possible. When you're with the boxes, the labels, like the material the labels are made out of, like even like what I would love to do, like maybe putting it in a velvet bag or whatever. Like I feel like those things would up the experience that people feel with the candles.
So I think if we can kind of hone in on that and make the branding like really look like it feels luxury at every point of it, when you touch it, when you see it anywhere, I think we could definitely charge like $65 for the candles once we really put our foot into it. Like, because I like I said before, they're definitely underpriced. People are paying $50 for it. I think $45 to $50 is reasonable for that candle, and we were just testing at 35, and 35 is working. So we gonna see what happens in the next couple months. But that is it for the candles. What?
They's asking if I'm free to work tomorrow.
Who's they?
The police.
Okay.
You think I should do it?
Sure. You have nothing else to do. All right. Now with the house, I'm in a much better mood now because of the craft fair. At the end of this video, there will be a video where my contractor and I are arguing again. Now, in that video that you're gonna hear, if you decide to listen to it, it's pretty much, in my opinion, it was me trying to have the energy or match the energy of my contractor, right? Because normally I don't like to argue with people that are not trying to make sense and that it's an emotional conversation. I really don't like to have those conversations because it's the problem I'm trying to solve is not, we're not trying to solve the same problem. If I'm trying to solve a problem about why is this outlet cover not covered and fixed, and the problem that he wants me to solve is he doesn't feel appreciated. So I'm like, hey, why is it not fixed? He's like, well, you never told me that you like my job in the house. And I'm like, what? Like, I hate that. Like that really blows my, when I'm trying to solve a singular problem we're looking at, and then it becomes something that's not singular. So then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me engage and indulge in this emotional conversation. So now I don't know if I would say I'm screaming. I'm not really a screamer. I guess I'm talking louder maybe than normal, but I haven't listened to it, so I can't even say how I sound. I'll have an episode playback of next week. I will have, I guess, my review of it, what I think, because I haven't really heard it again since it happened. But the points I remember of it the most were, it started off like this, right? I had texted him and I said, when are the last things for the house getting done? And he texted me back, when are you sending the money? Now, already off top, that to me is an emotional response, because I'm like, my question is sitting right there in front of you. So you saw that question and said, I'm not answering that. I want to ask you a question because I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, right? And I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of texting back, I'm going to call him. So we get on the phone. And like I said, during this phone call, he hung up on me 3 times, right? Because now I'm playing this game, this childish game where it's like the kids on the playground at recess. I'm okay, let's indulge in that. There's actually a line by Jay-Z. Let me see if I can find that line, because that I feel like accurately describes what that phone call was like. Okay, here's a quote by Jay-Z. A wise man told me, don't argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who is who, right? And that's how I felt in that phone call, because as I'm having the conversation, I'm just like, bro, this is so stupid. I'm like, this is just dumb, because I really want to just sit on the phone and just be like, bro, are we really doing this? Like, I don't like. The question I kept asking him over and over again was this: are you done working on the house? Yes or no? Simple question. It's yes or no. That's all I'm asking. If you are done, then we can find a way to go our separate ways. If you're not done, then let's figure out these things that need to be finished in the house and move forward. He would not answer the question. And to be more childish, he decided, instead of answering my question, he was going to just ask me a question and then say yes or no to me. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, bro. And now we go back on the phone, back and forth. I'm saying, are you going to finish the house? Yes or no? Well, are you going to send me the money? Yes or no? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's so, even thinking about it, so infuriating, because it's like, bruh, how old are we? Like, you can answer the question, but I guess I don't even know what it's called. I was going to say that maybe it's being afraid of confrontation, where he's like, okay, I don't want, because here's the thing. Okay, let me finish that sentence. I think it could be he is afraid of the kind of confrontation that requires someone to have a logical conversation, because if you can be emotional, you avoid the logical part of it, and therefore you don't have to look wrong or feel dumb because you yelled and the other person stopped talking because you were yelling. So now you feel like you won that conversation. But if we're talking logically and I'm like, hey, you told me you were going to be here at 2:30 and you're not here at 2:30, you're late. People who are emotional will go, well, I'm not late, it was traffic. And it's like, but the time was 2:30, it's 2:45. Well, it was traffic. And I'm like, yeah, but you're late. Like, regardless of that, the thing I said was at 2:30, be here, you're not, you're late. So I feel like to have to take that responsibility and accountability, if he just yells back emotionally, then he kind of avoids that. So that's what I think why that happens. So he hangs up on me 3 different times throughout this phone call, right? I'm trying to think what else happened during that phone call. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm about to get in your ass. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to explain to you all the different reasons, things that you have messed up during the whole function of this project, right? So to him, I bring up the fact that you guys, whoever your team is, you guys let water get on the counter and it stained the counter. It warped the counter. And when I asked you to have it fixed, you told me you were in another country going to bed, right? He gonna tell me that's not his fault. The faucet was defective, and I'm like, yeah, you bought the faucet. Like, who else? Like, that's on you. And honestly, what happened was he was trying to put that water thing on me because the faucet was defective. And I'm like, bro, I didn't even buy the faucet. I'm not blaming you for the faucet being defective. I'm talking about the issue from the faucet being defective. The water, that should have been taken care of. The warping, that shouldn't have happened because it should have been dried and oiled. Those things shouldn't happen. That's when he comes back to me and starts telling me that, oh, he's telling me this. I'm the reason we got the faucet. If I didn't get the cheap one, that wouldn't have happened. And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you that the faucet that you purchased is the reason why we are here. That is happening. You didn't make the faucet, but you were the one that bought it. So that's on you. Like, what you want me to tell you? He didn't want to hear that. It was not, I guess it offended him. He didn't like it. His feelings were hurt. I don't know. But that's another thing, a part of it that I just felt like, bro, because I even think about it now, like, my brain doesn't even like to go back into that type of thing. I much rather prefer the convo I had with the guy about spreadsheets at the craft fair and about making money than having to argue with people I feel like are childish. Like, it annoys me to my soul. So I'm trying to think what else happened during that phone call. Like I said, you gotta hear all of it at the end. Maybe this one is shorter than the last one. It's probably like 30 minutes, maybe like 25 minutes. I don't remember. I think it's 25 minutes. This one. I think the last one was like 40. Yeah, I don't really remember the other stuff, but it ended up coming down to, bro, what he told me was my fault. Oh, okay. So I'm like, yo, I need the stuff in the house to be removed, like the paint and these other things that were in the house. I'm like, it's not clean. He's like, that's not my job. I'm like, how is cleaning not your job? I'm like, you are the contractor for this job. You should be having people come to clean the house. He's talking about I should be the one to clean the house. I'm like, bro, I had to come out there with my mom, my sister, and my girlfriend to clean this house because you were not doing it. That was 2 months ago, or a month and a half ago. And currently at this point, you just are now getting the bathroom cleaned. Not the bathroom, just now getting the house cleaned last week after me and my mom and Neffy already cleaned the bathroom. I think it was like June 12th or something like it was clean weeks ago. And you're just now doing this. He started going on and on about how it's not his fault. What the paint in the basement. He's like, what do you want me to do with that? I'm like, I don't care. He's like, I left it there for you. I'm like, for me, I'm like, why would you leave it there for me? He gonna say, oh, because in case you want to touch up the roof or the exterior. I'm like, in case I want to touch it up, I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm selling this house. At what point would I be touching up this house? It's not mine. I'm not gonna own this. Take the paint, get rid of it, put it somewhere. Like, what are you doing? So like I said, the whole thing just annoyed me. But again, like I said, that is at the end of this podcast. You can listen to that. Now, on a better note, shout out to everybody who's been here rocking with us throughout this whole agent fiasco over the last 3 weeks or so. We have found an agent. All right. I decided to get an agent. I've been calling agents to find buyers, and I came across an agent that I think is phenomenal. I think he's amazing. I ran him through my very small gauntlet of questioning to kind of vet him, and he passed everything. So far this year, it is August. He has done $11 million in sales. He's young. He's married. He's experienced. He's the only person that gave me a price of the house based off of that area without ever even seeing it. He said, listen, what kind of house is it? 3.1.5, and what area, what neighborhood? Yeah, full rental, right? Yeah, it's going to be about X, Y, and Z dollars. Only person that doing that. Everybody else had to go and look it up. So that lets me know that he actually does work in that area. He works with a lot of investors, or I don't know if I'll say a lot. He works with an investor multiple times because he also does their rentals for their 400 and 500 unit buildings. I'm just like, yo, this guy is great. Ended up giving him a candle. Shout out to him, my guy Noah. We gave him a wind down candle, so hopefully he appreciates that. And when we got to the house, we met him yesterday. We went to the house on Sunday, right? So while we're at the house, he is looking at things that no one has ever looked at in the house. Not me, not Melissa, not the contractors, not friends that we've had go, not other people. No one, the other agents that have been there, no one has told us the things that he found, that he saw. One of the things we found, but we were not looking for it on purpose, was underneath the vanity on the first floor bathroom. Right? There is no baseboard down there, and it's not fully painted. As soon as he came inside the bathroom, he looked underneath the sink like, okay, let me check. He said, okay, y'all gotta get this fixed. He went through the house. He was checking different things. One thing that I thought was crazy was that he was like, upstairs, a lot of houses that are in Philadelphia in a certain corner of the house are dipping in. And he went and checked the house like, wow, this is great. You guys don't have this corner dipping in. And I'm like, that's sick. Like, you have to be experienced like doing it. You have to be in it to know things like that. You don't just look that up. You have to be in houses, walking around houses, and see that multiple times. So that lets me know he's really been, on his shit. We talked a lot. I feel like he's good at sales. We were on the phone for like an hour, and one of the things I really liked about him was this. I feel like he was not trying to sell me on working with him. I feel as though we were just having a conversation, and the only reason I even know about his sales is because I asked. He used to do funny enough, he used to go to fairs, and he would sell iPhone cases, right? And he said he had a spreadsheet. Yeah, I know, I love my spreadsheets, of 100 or several, I think he said 100 plus different fairs that he went to that Melissa and I can go to sell the candles. A lot of them were in Jersey, he was saying. But like I said, we talked for a very long time. We talked about agents, talked about MLS. The questions I used to vet him, it was probably like maybe 2 or 3. One of the big ones for me is, what is your biggest mistake that you've learned as a realtor or a real estate agent? And I asked that question because for me, everybody has a mistake, like especially if you're doing it for a long time. But I think the introspective personality type is what I want to work with. Somebody that figured out their mistake, knows it, and then go, oh, I remember making that mistake and I don't do it anymore. And that only happens from somebody that's been working at it multiple times, makes mistakes, and then learns from the mistakes, and then solves those mistakes. I've asked somebody else that question. They gave me one of those interview answers where they kind of flip it back on you. He was like, oh, well, it's about working with sellers that don't waste my time. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, if I get with a seller that doesn't waste my time, then I know that I am doing the right thing. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? When I asked this guy, he laughed before he even answered it, because and from me hearing that reads to me as like, oh yeah, bro, I made so many mistakes. Let me pick one of them. What's my mistake? So the one that he ended up giving me was that he felt like he started being an agent too late. He wished he had started like a year earlier, he has said. Oh, wow. So I got a call. I got a text from my guy. He's my guy now. That's my guy. The small business guy from Camille Valentina, I think it is. He said, hey man, it was great meeting you on Sunday. I was wondering if you want to grab coffee and do a more in-depth into your numbers and strategy. I'm looking to talk to as many small businesses as out there. So I'm like, I'm not really a coffee guy, but I get some hot chocolate. I feel you. So like I said, that is exciting to me. Like Melissa, if I go with this person, I might be there for like 10 hours. Like if I talk to him by myself, I'll be there forever. I'll be there like, you have to call me, and I'll be like, yeah, I know we're still here talking. We want to walk. We started walking around. We started looking at other businesses, pointing out the other problems they were having in their business. So yeah, that's crazy.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
That's cool for him to reach out like that too.
Whoo, sweating.
Yeah, gotta finish the podcast.
Right, getting hot and bothered again, but it might just be hot in here. So I'm excited about that. I'm super excited about that. And I've been telling you, it's about building the proper team. Like, this is great. I'm so excited. I feel like I have so much, but I'm still broke on every aspect. The car was supposed to be repossessed last Friday. We kind of just got out of that by paying like $200, $300 to get that avoided from being repossessed. They just closed another one of my bank accounts over the last week. So now I only have two, but the other one's also negative. So they're probably going to close that one very soon. All my credit card payments are being missed over the last month because we have no money to pay them. We have to figure out, is it better to put the money to that or to put it to the company and the business in the house? To me, it's that and food. So it's like, I have to take that L on that. So as great as everything seems to be, or as I'm saying, I'm excited about it, there's still this hanging thing over here behind us that's fucking us up.
Yeah, we avoided eviction for the year, but
right,
that's coming to a close soon. So
right,
it's a lot.
Right. So like I said, that's what a lot of y'all. Funny enough, y'all probably don't even know what we going through outside of just what y'all see us doing with the house and stuff. But broke, about to be evicted, still like there's still like a what they call that, like a postponement on the eviction. The car insurance is not paid. The car note is not paid. Bruh, bruh, barely grocery. Oh yeah, easy, bruh. One of the videos from before, I showed y'all the Easy Pass stack parking ticket. Well, yeah, parking tickets, Easy Pass stack. It's like this big. Like, it's probably like this big of how many freaking like may I put over here of how many stacks we have of like stuff from Easy Passes. And that, for people who don't know, I think Sarah was like, what is that? We have tolls here in New York, right? And wherever you guys live at, imagine you live in Miami. I don't know, Miami's a good example, but like, let's use Miami. If you drive from Miami to Orlando, right? I don't know if they're close or not. Maybe they are. I don't even know. But just imagine driving to the town next door to you that's literally 3 miles away, and you got to pay $8 to get there, right? Like, imagine you live in the suburbs, and then, because if you guys live in the suburbs like my cousin used to, it's all the houses, and then they have the mall somewhere else, right? Everybody goes to hang out. Imagine every time you go to the mall, you got to pay $10 just to drive to the mall and to drive back. That's what tolls are. So every time we leave the house to drive to another city, to go to my mom's house, to go to Manhattan, to go to Philly, they charge us $6, $8, $10, $12, depending on the day of the week, the time of the day. $20. It's just charging us all the time, right? So we're like, you know what? We can't afford it. So I actually know a person or no other person who didn't pay their note for like their Easy Pass tickets for like 5 years. I think they owe like $75,000 or $90,000 tickets with the fees and with the Easy Pass tickets. It's crazy. This is insane. So, but that is that. Oh yes, back to the house. So with the house, we signed a contract with him on Friday, and one of the big things for me, like I said before, which I had talked about with the other agents, if I asked myself if I had more time, what would I do? And I said I want to choose him. That was a green flag for me. So we could list the house this week. If we were gonna say fuck the inside pictures, we could have the house listed this week. We want the house to look good on the inside, so a couple things need to be done. Baseboard, some paint here, an outlet that's broken, and the backyard. Melissa and I were having this convo. Now y'all could input what y'all think about this. I'll put some pictures up of the backyard if I have any, maybe some video. Next door, if y'all saw on Instagram, y'all would have seen this. Next door, the house is vacant, and their backyard is trash and all types of garbage, just mad stuff back there, like wood, broken glass, just all types of whatever you can feel is back there, right? And you can see it from our house. So we were considering putting up a fence to block that off. Now I want to put up a 7-foot fence so that you can't see it. Actually 8-foot fence, but I would settle for 7. 6 to me is not high enough. But it costs money to put up that fence. I feel like we would save money with the fence only because we don't have to get it put into the ground. We can have it drilled directly into the concrete wall that's there. Now, I think that it would help us to sell the house quicker and at a higher price if people go in the backyard and cannot see the house next door from the backyard. Now, Melissa feels different about this. You want to explain to them how you feel about this?
I just want the house gone.
I know.
And anything that is in the way of that, I
know, which is my problem. That's my problem.
But I feel like there should be like more of a plan when it comes to it. I feel like, to me personally, it kind of feels like, it's just like, let's get a fence without taking into consideration the things that need to be done to have the fence up. So it's like, yeah, that's how I feel.
Right. So, I already explained the reason why I want to have a fence. We did find a tarp that we could probably put up that might be like a privacy tarp or something. It's not tarp. What do they call that? It's not. What word did I use earlier?
It's privacy fence.
But it's not the fence though. Like the material. What is that? Like,
it's kind of like a tarp.
Yeah, so it's like that. And we could put that up. They have an 8-foot version of that, and it comes in beige that simulates wood, so we could possibly use that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, okay, should we do that? Now, when it comes to the house, we need something called a certificate of occupancy, which pretty much says the house is safe to live in. And we had a pre-final inspection last week, which we did not pass because of this drain issue in the back, which we talked about probably on here, which we just found out. I don't even know if y'all know about this. Maybe y'all do. I feel like y'all should know about this. So there was a drain that was in the backyard that when they put it down, I guess they put the wrong one down, not the regulated one. So I guess they have to dig up that drain and put the proper one in there. And the issue is they can't find it. So just so that you're in the loop. What?
That doesn't make sense.
What doesn't make?
They can't find it. How did they know that it's not the right one?
No, they can't find the one to replace it with.
Oh, I thought you meant like they can't find it in the ground.
Yeah, so the one that they need, so this is what I have a picture of it. I'll put that on the screen too. What they actually need is a drain that connects to the rain leader. And that's the problem. Like this. Big. Mm-hmm. The one that we have just is the bottom part. So it seems like whatever we have in the back, I don't know how they did it, but I think I know. I think it's probably separate, and that's the problem. That's what I think is the issue. It's supposed to be connected to each other. Yeah, so we have to find that and then have that put in. So like I said, we could have the house listed this week if we wanted to, but it's like, okay, we would have it listed with no CO. The pictures would be bad. The guy that, bruh, oh my God, I'm trying to like move on, but he gave us this great idea. Another reason why I chose to go with him was when I was talking to him about trying to list the house myself, he told me I should do a coming soon on the house on the MLS, and that way I can kind of see if people want to buy the house, and then I can gauge what price I should do if I still want to go by myself and sell it. He gave me that info without ever selling me on using him as an agent, which is why I decided to use him as an agent. And he was saying that one thing that he would suggest to do instead of virtual staging is to kind of do like a version of both, where you do regular staging versus virtual staging. So how it works is with virtual staging, you obviously have the pictures, you put them online. Regular staging, you pay like $3,000 or $5,000 or more to stage your house. He said that for a lot of his new construction work that he's been a part of and doing is they have it where they have virtual staging pictures inside the house. So when you come in the house, they have like an easel where you can see how the house will look if it was staged. And he was saying that I could do that, but obviously we hired him, so they're going to do that now. So he wants to have good pictures for that. So we're like, okay, we want to get the right pictures for this house to make sure we get the right price and the highest number. So okay, so episode playback. I had said a penis is an inverted vagina. Last week, I meant to say that a vagina is an inverted penis. Okay, when I was saying that women are born first, and then a woman turns into a man from birth, which I think is so crazy that they say that, and then somehow we still have this story that men came from women, that like women came from men. So that's that. I uploaded the podcast last week. This is why it kind of went up later than I wanted it to. Here's what I really want. Okay, guys, this is what I want. I want to be able to have the podcast go up on Thursday. I want to record it on Tuesday and have it up by Thursday so that less things happen between each podcast. So it's like we kind of experience it at the same time. That's what I want. I'm trying to aim to get to that in the future. We did it before. Like we used to do it like a little bit back in the day, but that's when we didn't really have as much on our plate. But I want to definitely be able to edit it then. And I could now. I'd just be exhausted, and I really don't want to do that. I don't want to waste. I don't want to expend my energy trying to force myself to get it out by Thursday because something comes up. Then I know that I'm not gonna be able to do it. And it's like right now I could comfortably have it edited and recorded and posted by Sunday. Like I have enough time to have all that stuff done comfortably. But what happened on Sunday, which is kind of crazy, I had posted the video, it was ready to go up, and then I looked at it and it didn't have the proper time. So usually what that means is my laptop ran out of space. So the video was supposed to be an hour and 20 minutes. It was 55 minutes. So I re-uploaded it, right? When I re-uploaded it, it got stuck on 11% until the next day. So I had to delete that one, re-download the video again. So that took time. Then re-upload it again to YouTube. So that's why last week's video went up on Monday instead of Sunday. But like I said, Sunday is definitely the most comfortable day for me because I have the podcast usually edited and done. Usually it's done by Friday if I'm feeling like, if I'm really, on my shit. Saturday the latest, sometimes with the craft fair, sometimes like that, it'll be Sunday morning. And because it's been uploaded mostly on Sundays, I don't want to upload it Friday this week, Saturday next week, Sunday next week, the next week is Saturday and it's Friday. Like I know right now consistently I can do it on Sunday. So okay, so topics of the day. So there was a guy that he's on YouTube. I just started seeing his content. And now Melissa and I had this convo before. The conversation that me and my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend had was, is it more important to have information or money? This guy, his name is Josh Lester. I want y'all to go look at his channel. It's fairly new. The things he decided to do with his channel is crazy. I don't know if that's his real name or if he does something else besides this. I'm assuming he does something else and it's a fake name. That's what I think. So this guy, Melissa, okay, has a challenge. He put it out for himself to make $1,000 a day. I believe in profit in 30 days with no money, right? No car. I think he said maybe no phone, but $0. So he decided to start a business, a service business, a house service business. He goes door to door and washes their windows, right? Charges $250. He said he could do a house in about an hour, 2 at the most, right? So in the video, what he did was he went to a car wash, said, "Hey, can I borrow your squeegee? I have a job today as a window wash. My first time." Mind you, he has no job yet. He has nobody to do it for. But they said, "Yeah, for sure. Just bring it back at the end of the day." So now he already has part of the equipment he needs for free. Then he went to like a CVS or a Dollar Tree. He said, "Hey, I got my first job today. Can I just get this Windex for free? I'll pay you back when I come at the end of the day." It was $2. Right? She was like, "Oh, we don't do that." He's like, "No." He talked to the manager like, "Look, I promise I'll pay you $5 when I come back. I just need to please let me borrow this or let me have it. And when I come at the end of the day, I'll pay you back. It's my first job. I don't want to, you don't want to stop a kid from making money." That's what she said. So they said, "Okay, fine." So now he got a free squeegee, free Windex or material, whatever he needed to do it, and goes out, starts washing windows. So he goes door knocking and starts selling and getting people to agree to pay him $250 per hour to wash the windows. So he said he's doing like 8 in a day or whatever the case might be, right? So then he said, okay, he has no apartment either. So that was part of the thing. You can't have a place to live. So he's staying in motels for the beginning of it. So he makes money from the squeegee and he goes to a motel. What happened?
So he didn't have no money.
No money.
And okay.
So he makes the money, right? Then goes pay for a motel.
Okay.
Then he said his goal was, which I find is so interesting. His goal was to have the down payment for an apartment. He had a 4-step goal. He said make $6,000 and then get an apartment. That's what he said. He said the quality of life will 10x my money if I'm not living in this dirty, stinky motel. I need to get an apartment. So that was the first thing he did, was make the money, get an apartment. And I think that's interesting because he was like, I didn't want to just keep making the money or whatever. I stayed in this motel and just thug it out for 30 days to save my money. He's like, no, I'm getting an apartment where I can be comfortable in and go to work, right? So then the third thing was hire people. He's like, I can't be the only one doing it myself every single day for the whole month, working 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day by myself. It's better for me to sell. If I make enough money to hire somebody, I can have them do it, and that way I can get more people and pay more people to do it. So I don't know what day he's on right now, but he's selling. People are agreeing, right? So what he's doing the anchoring thing, where it's like, okay, hey, normally we charge $450, but we did some people on the block and we have like a discount, so we're doing $249, right? They're like, oh, okay, he has a whole little pitch or whatever. People are paying it, right? So he's getting sales. So now he's making $2,000 a day, $1,000 a day, whatever the case might be, growing the business.
That's crazy.
Insane.
4 houses.
Huh?
4
houses. And if he's doing it himself.
Right.
And it's like, if I hire somebody, right, it probably does not cost them $100 to wash the windows. I could probably hire like a person for $50 or $30, or maybe an hour. I pay $50 an hour to do this window. I made $250 on it. So I pay you $50, I keep $200, and I just keep doing that over and over again. So I was like, okay, he has the information to make the money.
Yeah.
So I'm like that, and he could grow that very quickly.
Yeah. But
what you thinking? Let me know what you thinking. That's crazy. Josh Lester, that's his name, guys.
I feel like that sounds like he's experienced.
He has the information.
But information on if information is different than experience. I can know how to play a piano or know what notes are, but if I haven't played it 1,000 times, you can't just drop me into Carnegie Hall and expect me to play a whole.
But that means you probably don't have the right information.
You
don't have enough information.
I think you're conflating information with experience.
I don't think so, because experience breeds information. So the things that you learn, for example, wholesaling, they say what you have to do is you have to get a house, get a contract, assign it to a buyer, and you make money. That's information. But if you have experience, you know, I have to make 1,000 calls minimum per day. I have to get this software. I have to say these lines.
Right.
But that's still information that you don't have.
It is still information, but that's not like, he is not starting from the beginning. We're talking about where to start from. That's not a start place he's at. I think experience is more than information. It's not the same.
I don't know. What is experience? Experience is giving you information.
Right, but I think that it's information from doing. I think that if you just have information and you haven't done anything yet, you won't.
But you don't have enough information. That's all that means. Experience is enough information. That's what that is.
But you don't start with experience.
But that's because you don't start with experience. But if I'm experienced and I teach somebody else, they will have information that somebody who just reads a book won't have. Because I'm teaching them. They have that information. I know. I saw my dad do it like this. I know I'm gonna do it like that. I can read a book. The book don't say all of that.
Like I said, I think that is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the same as information. Because to me, information is what can I read, what can I watch, what can I absorb, and I understand that is a facet of experience. But like I said, I think that experience is still doing. Because there's a lot of things that you won't like. I've watched a bajillion cooking shows, a bajillion house flipping shows, but everything that I've watched, yes, is giving me enough information to get to doing things a certain way, but it doesn't top experience.
But that's because it's not enough information.
It's a different type of information.
It's still a subset of information.
Sure.
So, and this is what I think too, because one of the answers that we came to before was that it's hard to equate the two in terms of information versus money, because it seems like the amount of information he has is worth probably over $1 million, because he could make $1 million from the info he has.
Right, but I don't think he got that from just reading.
Because you probably can't. I mean, you can, but you have to read $1 million worth of information.
I don't know.
What you mean?
Think about it. There's things that you read that's like information on a topic that don't even apply. Like once you go to experience it, it doesn't even. People are like, what you talking about? An example is the whole open listing thing. That's information. That's something that that's in the books. You read it. It's a viable option. Like, okay, sure. You go talk to agents. What are you talking about? What? I've only seen that in books. I've never done that before. No one I know ever experienced that.
But
so I think that's different.
But
what?
The agent that we have knows what it is. The agent that we don't have don't know what that is. He don't use it. He knows. He's like, I don't. They had to go ask their broker, how do I use that? Can we use that? Are we allowed to do that?
They have enough information.
Exactly.
But they also don't have the same amount of experience.
But that's the information. Man, listen. I think
I don't want to.
It's tough because
I feel like there's a difference, but I understand how you gain information from doing.
Okay, let me preface it with this, because I'm thinking about, you have a child who's starting out. I think what they should do is they should not go read books. They should go find somebody who's doing the thing and learn from them. Find somebody that's wholesaling. Hey, who do I need to call? How many calls I gotta make? What do I say? Because you can read a book and the book say, learn how to write a contract. Learn how to open an LLC. Learn how to get an EIN. And you're like, all right, I did all of that. I made a website. Why don't I have no orders? Why I ain't getting no leads and no deals? It's like, you ain't called nobody. You ain't called nobody. You ain't say nothing to nobody. You talk to one person all month. That's why you don't have no leads.
Listen, I think that I personally feel like experience should be in a different subcategory. But I think that experience is probably the most important thing. Probably more important than money. And it allows you to weed out what information is useful or not. So I think experience is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
But if you ain't have no experience, That's the thing about experience. That is something that's gained over time. So if I'm just starting something, experience don't help me.
That's not true.
How?
What you mean? Here's the thing. If somebody's gonna give you one or the other, which one? Money or experience? And this is under the guise.
That's what I'm saying. Where it's like, how do you give somebody experience?
You teach them.
Mentor?
Yeah. You teach them.
Sure.
Like, I could probably tell some people some stuff. I mean, I'm not a mentor, but I could definitely be like, hey, this is what I went through. I'm experienced. I've done failed this time. I messed up here, and here. Make sure you get a great contractor. If anybody asks me how to flip a house, the first thing I'm gonna say is make sure you have a great deal. Make sure you have a great deal, and then make sure you have a great contractor. Honestly, I might go with great contractor first. I might choose to make sure that I have a great contractor first, because then I know what a great deal is. Yep, I'm going with that one. Because if I have a contractor that says the budget is $150K, it's actually $400K, I had the bad contractor. Or let me not say that. I have a bad contractor, but also that means it won't be a good deal because numbers are wrong. So you can't even know what a good deal is until you have it. Yep. That is get a great contractor. Before anything else, that is what I would do, is find a great contractor.
But that's not, I don't think that's like.
That's what?
How much does a great contractor cost?
It don't matter. That you only pay them when they do the job. So get them first, then find a way to have the money.
What?
What do you mean? What?
What do you mean only pay them when they do the job?
You don't pay a contractor until you have signed a contract for a house.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't yeah.
So you mean find them first?
Yeah.
Before you have anything else?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like before you go look for a house that's a good deal, find a great contractor. You disagree?
Not necessarily.
Oh, so why you making sounds then? Why you going?
That's it, not necessarily.
That's what you did. You don't have no reason to disagree. Hater. That's what you are. You're a hater. Now, aside from Melissa hating, like I said, Josh Lester, I have only watched like 2 videos. I kept seeing like shorts of him selling at people's doorstep.
The last one.
You said what? Okay. But like I said, I just think that he is a phenomenal. Like, I want to watch more of his videos. I want to see if I really fuck with him or not. So last thing I say about him, he had a video that I watched today, right? One of the lines he has in his sales pitch is, if someone says, I have another guy that works on the house, he'll go, well, is he as handsome as me? Right? So same thing happened with one woman. Well, actually, let me rewind that. That's his line. So this video is titled Male Karens Get Upset, right? So he pulls up to some house. There are 3 men outside who are very upset with him because he used that line on his wife. And now the men, mind you, he's a kid. He's probably like 20 or 21 or something like that, or 22. And they're like, you can't talk to my wife like that. Now she's in the house. She's scared. And he's like, what? She's scared? Like, what are you talking about? And because what happened was, actually, he didn't even say it. He had told his employee to say it. So the guy had came to him and was like, hey, you have your employee just saying reckless things to my wife. And he's like, okay, all right. Okay, guys. What did he say? Like, nobody's telling me what he said. And he goes, he gonna say, oh, he's more handsome than my friend who does the house right now. And he's like, wait, what? That's all he said? Y'all mad about that? He's like, okay, listen. Obviously, y'all have some problem. The problem is that you see somebody like me and him who are young making more money than y'all, $1,000 a day, while y'all sit in the house doing whatever y'all do. So you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go across the street. I'm going to prove to you that you are obviously over-exaggerating. I'll use that line hundreds of times on people, and they laugh. So for you to come out here and tell me that we're insulting or offending anybody is ridiculous. So you know what he does? Goes across the street to their neighbor, uses the line on the neighbor, gets him to laugh, and goes, you see? All 3 of you men, she laughed. It's funny. It's not offensive. It's a funny joke. And when he did it to her, his person that he referenced was the husband, because the husband is the one that actually cleans her house. So she said, oh, my husband already does it. He was like, oh, I'm not handsome, more handsome than your husband. Right? And then she laughed. I don't even, maybe it's coincidence, God intervention. The husband pulled into the driveway from somewhere else. So now it's 3 men on this guy's driveway. It's the wife inside and the kid, another kid. He's like, what's going on here? Like, right, what's happening? So then he tells the husband a joke. Husband laughs. He's like, do you see? You 3 have an issue. It's y'all. I don't know what's the problem with y'all, but we're all fine. And the guy's now like, oh, miss, you don't feel offended by what he said? That don't offend you? That don't hurt you? You don't feel scared? She's like, no. Right, like you the one that acting weird. But like I said, so that's only watched that video of his, like a long form, and I only watched the first one of when he started this whole project. So honestly, like I'm not gonna get into that, but yes, one of my favorite videos to watch. I'm gonna start binging it later. But I'm gonna wrap up the podcast with that. We'll be back here next Tuesday. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Now, before I get to the last part of this, next week Kelly Stamps is having a meltdown, and we had talked about this on our podcast months ago. If you put in Kelly Stamps Thebamboo Project, it might come up. Bruh, call us, Kelly. We can fix your problems. I'm telling you. We know what your problems are. Make a second channel is not going to solve your problems. Moving to New York was not going to solve your problem. None of these things you think are going to solve your problem, they're not going to solve your problem, Miss Stamps. Call us, email us. We got you. Okay, we know what you need. But you know what it is? Hashtag Bamboo Project 2022. This year is getting real right with the last 5 months. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.
You said no. What else do you want me to say?
So how does water leave the house if the curb trap is broken? If I run water anywhere else in the house,
I don't know that they're leaving the house.
it is leaving. I'm telling you, it's leaving. I'm telling you, the water's leaving the house. I've had people go and check.
I don't see you coming there and checking.
I was just there the other day. What are you talking about?
Okay, good for you. Did you see that it's done?
I see that the water leaves the house, not from the backyard. Yes.
Listen, when you can answer my question, we can keep playing this game. Okay?
What game are you talking about? The house getting finished?
You are playing a game with me about this job, Donovan.
What game is being played with you?
I'm not going to be put in a situation where you're holding $10,000 and waiting for somebody to sell the house. This is not how I do this job, okay?
If the job was done correctly the first time, then we're gonna have this conversation. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Every time somebody comes to the house to do something, they mess something up. The whole wall that you had done, the guy had the material from the wall around the whole entire house. It's in the basement. It's on the first floor, on the second floor. That's the guy that you hired to do that. I'm not. No. I'm not finished. Don't forget about also. Don't forget about the countertop. The countertop that you messed up. The countertop that you messed up. No. Listen, because here's the thing. You need to listen. But if you listen, what you don't understand is this. Who bought the faucet? You did.
You told me to get it. I did you a favor.
And you bought a defective faucet and had it installed. And you had it installed. I don't want a favor if it's not going to be done correctly. Now, because of you, the countertop is warped, and it is because of you.
You chose a cheap faucet that came to be defective.
You chose the faucet. I didn't get a faucet. You went to the store and you picked the faucet out.
I want this one because
I wasn't there. How was I? I was not there. How to pick out the faucet? You picked the faucet out. You picked out the faucet, and you got a defective one, and you had your man install it, and then there was water all over the counter, and now because of that, they didn't oil the counter they were supposed to do beforehand. That's on you. That has nothing to do with me. It is on you. That is 100% on you.
I don't buy garbage like that.
You bought it from the store, and a lot of things you have bought have been garbage. What are you talking about?
You asked me to find this. Now you owe me $10,000 almost. When I see some of this money or the whole thing, you can talk to me again, okay?
The work that you have not finished the work that you had said you were going to do. If you do the work that you say you're going to do needs to be done. Okay, are you telling me you can't afford it? Is that what you're telling me? That's all you can't afford it. If that's the problem, then let me know and we could solve that. If you can't afford to do it yourself, then I'll find a solution for it.
Spend 1 more minute of my time if I am not promised the rest of this money, and that's it. Okay.
So you're saying you are not finishing.
To be sold for me to get this money. Do you understand? I don't work like that.
If you were working correctly, then this wouldn't have to happen. I need things to be done the first time, not the second time and the third time and the fourth time and the fifth time and the sixth time. Every time somebody comes out to the house, they have to keep doing stuff.
Everything is done. Now get the money.
Okay, so okay, this is the thing. I would like to have a conversation with you as two men. This is not what we're doing right now. I'm telling you there's a problem that's done, and we are now talking over each other. We are having. So okay, you're telling me not gonna work anymore. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying.
Are you saying yes? It's a yes or no question. Are you working anymore on the house? Yes or no? Yes. It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. Are you done working on the house? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. Are you done working on the house? It's a yes or no question. This is crazy.
Are you gonna keep screaming?
You are yelling. I'm trying to ask you a question. You haven't answered my question.
I have answered.
You have not answered my question.
Said that this house is finished.